Hello, hello, my loves. Welcome to another episode of the Luscious Living podcast. I'm your host, Celine Bilgin, and the founder of Luscious Living, as well as the best-selling author of the Painless Period Guide. I am telling you right now, I was actually horrified a little bit ago. I was, waiting outside with Eric, waiting for our sandwiches, and I had copies of the Painless Period Guide to actually give to a local shop and organization and they're actually putting on something called the Period Project. But anyway, I was reading the book and I noticed there were some typos in the book. And while I am not the best person to look over all of my details and sometimes even on my social media posts I have some errors, but I had the book professionally edited and professionally published, and I was horrified when I saw that there were some grammatical errors. So the book is going to be republished, and I'm actually just in the middle of that right now. And anyone who has bought a copy will receive a free electronic copy of the newer version if you email me at hello@celinebilgin.com. And otherwise, the book is available on Amazon across the world. Just type in the Painless Period Guide, and I would love to have you read it. And even as I'm writing it, again, and just like going through the book, I'm just thinking about how important it is for women to have this information more than ever. Okay. And so I wanted to talk to you about something that I recently went with that I think is really important to share and really be real and raw with you about. Okay. And that is a recent trigger in my own body image and body weight, and going back to the times that I really struggled years ago, and what to really look for and do instead as men and women, and especially as women, and that's who I serve. Because oftentimes, even when we're in a good place, we try to fix what's not broken and end up in a worse position. Okay. And what I mean by that specifically is recently I had hired a fitness trainer who does, specifically physique and women's fitness. And I did it from a place of wanting to change and fix myself. And really, to be honest, from a place that's not broken. Okay. I feel healthier and happier than I ever have in my entire life. And I just had it in my head that I still need to lose 5 or 10 pounds just to kind of fit in with like what a fitness model looks like. And that really took me for a swirl in a negative way. Okay. And so I really also find that the energy in which we begin something can be actually really important for how things end. So I came from the position that I need to change and fix myself. I am not good the way that I am. And so that energy went into my new training. And I do think it's so important to realize, and I see this in my practice now, is that the women that we see on Instagram who are super, super fit are not always the healthiest. Okay. So they could be lacking in some nutrients that have hormone imbalances. They could be having anxiety. I know a girl who is just gorgeous and very fit. She just had her son not too long ago, and she is in extremely good shape. However, she came to me because she suffers from severe anxiety and insomnia. Even though she looks really great on the outside, she is suffering on the inside. And that's how I was at one point. I wasn't even fit though. I was just like bulimic, right? But I looked great. That was the time I was complimented all the time about how I looked. Okay. And so why I share this again is so that we are very clear from where our intentions for losing weight. And if you see this on, if you're listening to this on the podcast, I'm using quotation marks, right? So the intention of that, is it because you just feel like you're not good enough the way that you are, or is it that you want to focus on health? Okay. And for me, it was really focusing on, I wasn't good enough the way that I was, and I needed to lose weight, even though I was in a very healthy place. And so what happened is I got on this meal plan which included basically just cucumbers, chicken breast, cans of tuna, a little bit of avocado, salad with just salad, like literally just lettuce and some lemon juice on it. And that quickly reminded me of the restriction that I had experienced at one point in my life when I did have an eating disorder. It literally felt the same. It felt like my own history of getting training programs and meal plans and then completely failing at them and then feeling horrible. And even if I wasn't doing it properly, if I kind of was doing properly, I would still feel horrible because I wasn't doing it perfectly. And knowing that perfectly would be completely taking out any sort of pleasure and joy from my life, which is how I had done it in the past. And that did not work for me. And that does not work for most people. Okay. And so I found that I wasn't drinking my soups. I love vegetable soup. I literally drink it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner some days, just if I really like a soup. Obviously more than that too, but I'll have like a cup of soup with breakfast and some toast or whatever it is and some veggies. But that was really starting to throw me off. And I'm not a person who believes in cheat meals or guilty pleasures, especially when it's just one meal where I actually get to enjoy and eat whatever out of 3 meals a day times 7 days a week, right? And so that quickly got me into a spiral. And I found myself binge eating. I found myself eating as like an F it, I'm gonna do whatever I want. And that was something I constantly had years ago, is like this rebellion eating. Okay. And so I started to notice that. And then when I would binge, of course, what happened is my mind started to go to, well, this is completely throwing me off track. I should just purge. And I'm like, holy crap, I have not had a thought like that for years, years. And I seriously considered it. And then I seriously was like, okay, this is an issue, because this is exactly what got me into a very, very horrible state at one point. And so, and the workouts too. I don't know, like I started to do more high intensity. I like it. But it just doesn't work for me all the time, okay? Especially coming from a place of hormone imbalance. And so what happens is, and why I'm sharing this with you, is women, we sort of like, okay, we got to get fit. And so I just eat chicken breast for the rest of my life and all these high intensity workouts. And then it becomes not fun. And it's almost it feels punishing. But then you're like, oh, but then she looks really good. And that's how she does it. But we don't know what another woman is going through. Looking at a woman's physical body is only a piece of the puzzle. And it's so easy to judge ourselves on social media because of what we see from people on social media. We don't know if they have other health issues. And what's so amazing is, actually, just because of all this, I went back and found a girl on Instagram that is a fitness influencer, someone that I in university followed, and I bought her online programs and her meal guides, and I tried to do them. They were high intensity. And then I fell off. I was like, I can't do this 5 days a week. I just couldn't. And so I fell off and I felt horrible of myself. And I would find her on Instagram or whatever and be like, I wish I looked like her. I just don't have enough self-control and willpower. And I felt horrible about myself because of that. And fast forward to just a few days ago, I looked her up on Instagram and she is talking about how she had struggled with an eating disorder. She is my age and is covered in acne, and I'm not, and this is acne positivity, this is body positivity, please do not get me wrong, but what I'm saying is that, and I have acne sometimes too, okay, so let's just get real here. But what I'm saying is, women, we all have our internal struggles. You have no idea what someone's struggling with, so she might not have struggled with being that size, or maybe she did, but here I was thinking, oh my God, her life is perfect because she's this size and she looks this way. In the meantime, I was completely disowning my own body and my own health, my own measures. Okay. And so again, I hope that this is not being misunderstood. It's every woman has her own challenge. And I want you to actually start to look at health in a different way. So I'm going to share with you some of the common signs to look for health that go beyond just a six-pack ab or a size 2 or a 0 or whatever it is. Okay. And so I'm just pulling this up here. So the main signs you want to look for health is little to no PMS. Okay, so PMS including breast tenderness, hormonal acne along the jawline. You want to have have a stable mood, have clear skin, strong nails, healthy skin, healthy hair, having a deep sleep at night, having a stable mood, having forgiveness in your heart, gratitude, having a sense of purpose, having a sense of connection, having a healthy libido. All of these things are counting for health. But if we just look at the physical, like a six-pack abs or a size something, that's not necessarily health. That's a size. That's a scale. So I really want us women, including myself, to start to look at health as the measure, not a size. Okay. And so, and then in terms of body as well, there are signs to look for. So such as if we have hormone imbalance, our hormones are going to, so if we have excess estrogen, it's going to show up more in the hips and thighs. If we have a lot of cortisol, our stress hormone, it's going to show up in the belly. Okay, so it's really about working from a hormonal standpoint as well and gut bacterial balance. And then in terms of food too, you want to focus on emotional eating if that's a problem, binge eating if that's a problem. And usually binge eating is coming from not eating enough during the day. And emotional eating, this is the number one thing I had struggled with, is just, feeling off purpose, not, wanting to avoid our emotions, wanting to stuff it down, wanting to numb out. I'm very familiar with this. And if you have any questions and want help with it, please reach out to a professional such as myself or someone else to help you with it. Life is so good when you don't struggle with this. And I know it's like so secretive, and I struggled with it, even secretive eating, all of that. Okay. So that was kind of a rant, kind of a quick podcast episode to really hone in on the message of let's together focus on health rather than looking a certain way, because looking a certain way will naturally come when we focus on health. You'll get this glow, this vitality, this energy that is radiating out of you. Okay. And you can't starve yourself to that way. You cannot. That light comes from being totally lit up by life and lit up by yourself. Okay. And it's a journey. And also questioning society's beauty standards, right? This is also something when I was in Italy, I noticed all the paintings on the wall had these gorgeous women who were, soft bellied and just like relaxed. And then I grew up in the era of heroin chic. Right. And so that was different. And then we also have, we'd be like, oh, does my butt look big in these jeans? And now having a big ass is the thing. Or Pamela Anderson with the big breasts. And now I don't know what the scoop is on the breast thing right now, but it's always changing. And it's challenging for women to keep up with it. And so let's set our own standard of beauty. And I promise you, if you do struggle with excess weight, as I had, that will come off when you focus on health. Okay. So I hope that this message resonated with somebody out there. Okay. So if you are struggling with a workout plan or meal plan that's really making you feel restricted, you're not getting enough nutrients, you're just not feeling healthy, please come back to focusing on health, because whether it's acne, whether it's, thyroid challenges, it all comes down to stress. It comes down to the thoughts. It comes down to feeling safe in our body. Okay. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I really, really hope it was helpful to you. If you have not purchased a copy of the Painless Period Guide, it's not just about periods that are painful, but it's really about hormonal balance and living in tune with your 4 feminine cycles. Okay. So have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Mwah.